All right, I got Nikki here. We were just talking about encountering God's love and music and just how God can speak to our hearts. Why don't you tell us about what happened last Sunday?
Well, I was just reading in chapter 7 in the operating system of Jesus. And it says in the book, how we get to encounter God's love is simple. We ask for it. So I just was like, yeah, God, that's what I need more today. I need more of your love. I want more of your love. And then I got up from the table, put the book away, and realized the song that happened to be playing at that time on my iPod was Praises. So I thought, oh, this is good. I'll take it upstairs and listen to it as I'm getting ready for the day. And once I had it going upstairs, just really was starting to feel God's love and just felt like I had a moment with God where I stopped doing everything I was doing and I just was with God and feeling His love. And it felt really powerful.
Tell me about the song. It was a simple song.
It was a simple song that I'd heard many times before, but there just was something in this moment that kind of captured me and brought me into an encounter with God.
So it wasn't anything special about the song. You've heard it before, but at that moment, somehow it had connected to your heart differently.
Yes.
Right?
And
connected differently with it because of the music.
Yeah.
And we just saw how God can connect to our heart through music in different ways, because there's something spiritual behind music. There's something the way that music just speaks to our hearts and can speak to us even differently than words can. Like God can say, I love you, but we sense it differently through music. And you were probably sensing that morning with that song, because you kept playing it over and over, right?
Right.
And it was what was it called?
Praises.
So I was at church at the same time while she was at home getting the kids ready, and I just started my pre-service prayer. Well, by the time she got to church, I was in the middle of pre-service prayer where I play these songs, and I played a video of the songs. And as I was playing this video of a worship set, all of a sudden I sensed, just in my spirit, it wasn't like a word, it was just, I just had this feeling of, I need to skip ahead. I need to go to a different song. So I went over to the video player, my little computer, and I just pressed the play button where I could slide it forward a little bit, and I just kind of randomly picked a spot in this worship set. It went to that spot, and as soon as it started playing a spot, I could tell it was between songs, and then the song started, Praises. And right at that moment, Nikki walked in the door, right?
Right. So I got to church and I walked down the hall towards the gym where they were doing pre-service prayer. And as soon as I walked into the gym, that song started. And it just was like, oh my gosh, this was just the song I was encountering God with at home. And then Todd's like waving me in.
But you didn't know, or I didn't know that you had had that love encounter, because I was obviously at church. I wasn't at home when you had that.
Right.
But the part that I took away from that, Nikki then later on told me the story, and I realized, wow, that was totally random. But it was the exact right timing, the exact right moment that you had walked in the door. And it was one of those moments where I realized I'm totally just moving with God. And I think of it as intimacy, and how there'll be times when like I will feel like there's something that you'll need because we're growing closer to each other and we're growing more in intimacy, and there'll be points when I can tell you need something and I'll just do it, and you'll be like, oh, I just really needed that. And this was actually one of those moments. You really needed this love encounter, God, at that day. It was just kind of a heavy day for you, and you really needed it. And God actually helped me, just kind of by accident. I just accidentally moved to the exact right spot and the exact right timing for that love encounter. And I realized as I grow in intimacy with God, it's kind of the same thing of like, I can start just doing things totally by accident without even thinking about it. I am doing things for God. And what happened with that song, the passing thought?
When the song was playing, I just had this passing thought of kind of asking God, like, oh, I would like such and such thing. something frivolous that wasn't a necessity, just more of a heart desire, want kind of thing. And then at the end of the day, someone gave me one, that very thing that I had thought, oh God, it would kind of be nice. It was that metal decor thing that I wanted above to hang on the wall.
Yeah, just a piece of decoration that she had thought about and you hadn't really prayed about it. You hadn't asked God about it, but it just was something that was on your heart during that moment. And
well, it just came to my mind when I had this song playing as I was getting ready and just having this time with God. It just was like, oh yeah, I would like to have one of those. And then later in the day, someone was like, here you go, do you want this?
Just gave it to you.
Just gave it to me. And it was like, oh my gosh, I was totally just had this passing thought with God this morning of how I would like to have one of those. And that person that gave it to me said, well, I felt this morning like God said, ask Nikki if she wants this.
Yeah, before she just got rid of it. But it's like God's heart for you. He knows your heart. He knows you love gifts, and just sensing and being with Him, growing in that intimacy.
Well, and just really how simple it is. It is very simple just to ask God for more of His love.
Yeah.
And